And of course aeroplanes. I've knocked this out of place, haven't I? I don't know, maybe there. Right, quick before the momentum goes. Do we have any vocal? Very little. Very, very little. Okay. Right, I've just come off the back of an electric version of Where the Heart Wind Blows. And I want to, before the momentum goes, do an acoustic version. Helicopters and aircraft from the airbase flying overhead. And considering the nature of this song, it's kind of appropriate. I'm going to put some extra vocal on this. Maybe that's a bit too... Oh my stars and garters. Yeah. I get a hat. Where's my sunglasses? No sunglasses, these will have to do. I get a hat, a suit for armour. We're going back to 1987 here. And we're also going back to tomorrow. I need that somber. Two, three, four. There's a fence along the highway to keep the prophets in. The poet working overtime says now is the time to begin. A burial of an unknown man who must have been someone's twin. And the movie queen says, well, I have been where lovers dare not go. All that is black, and no one comes back from where the hard wind blows. All the servants sit in conference while the ministers go forth and steal. And the octopus tells tales of old while working the spinning wheel. And the lawyers and the other thieves debate what can be classed as real. And the new day breaks with new heartaches and suits of blue that glow. An evil toad has built a road to where the hard wind blows. And a council of the vagabonds, the last man in is voted first. He gets ahead his position and leaves his mother dying of thirst. He says, I got plenty of new deceptions up my sleeve. Go ahead, I dare you, do your worst. And the samurai, he won't let you cry, and he won't let you go. And the night comes down, so take your poison crown, hard wind blows. When the road on which you're traveling turns into a slot machine, you know you must change your game of chance and keep your conscience clean. The ferryman may say if to you, but he doesn't really know what it means. And all he can do is poison you and put your remains on show. The tower is high, but time still goes by where the hard wind blows. There's a tunnel with no entrance that leads to a hermit's cave, where half the people were victimized and the other half were depraved. And the Queen of Clubs pulled the orphans ashore on the crest of her regal wave. The truth is lies, and you despise the need that makes it so. The possum wears silk and the dead drink milk where the hard wind blows. In a picture frame of water, a rainbow has been kept in honor of a freshly dug grave where somebody famous once slept. The princess opens a locket that contains all the tears she's ever wept. And the pacifist, well, he makes a fist, but he's 10 years too slow. And the people say, we will leave someday where the hard wind blows. There's a flag in every corner that tells you where you are, and a signpost on the mortuary that points to near and far. And the doctor says, you say you're ill, as he pours salt in your scars. You walk alone through fields of stone where streams of daggers flow, and thanks aren't enough when the going gets rough where the hard wind blows. The sage is selling his memories, but no one wants to hear. The fighter puts his gloves away and says, same time next year. And the princess lets the boy see her locket and says, the exit's near. As the hammer drops, she calls the cops, but they get there far too slow. And the first man smiles, time is drawn in miles where the hard wind blows. There's a judge inside a bottle who sends his twisted verdicts out. He says innocence is an illness, and there's too much of it about. Remember, I don't need anything more than to say, oh, I feel some doubt. and the witness cooks the history books, so the orphans will never know. It is for the best to resist arrest where the hard wind blows. While the pawn takes to the back streets, the night goes on in style. He leaves a messenger tied to the gate, saying, "See you in a while." And the diplomats send him back. And all the while, Dame Fortune has called, but you have stalled, so backwards you must go. One day peace will come to not all, but some, where the hard wind blows. There's a ship out on an ocean that won't see port again. The helmsman is a soothsayer, and the captain's dressed in chains. His message from his wife said, "Wish you'd abstained." And you can't submit when being hit by the demons from below. And you won't get hurt if you stay alert where the hard wind blows. While the victims sit in silence, the tourists, they carry on. They won't leave someone else's land till the first people there are all gone. They take pictures of history, saying, "Read this from beyond." Standing on one foot, the archer puts a fresh arrow to his bow. And as he takes aim, children scream in pain where the hard wind blows. As a poet calls out the numbers, the piper starts to play, and the king and queen dance cheek to cheek, and the poem whispers, "Oh, by the way, someone wants you to speak. I've written down your memories to say." The porcupine says, "I feel fine. Don't you dare tell me it isn't so." And no one believes that no one leaves from where the hard wind blows. Teacher takes his pupils to the end of season dance. He said, "This is where your future goes. It's all just a game of chance. Here's all that you've ever learned, just the romance." Well, the fireman does what he can to try and save the show, but it turns to dust, as everything must, where the hard wind blows. As a foretaste of the future, the axeman sharpens his blade. He used to be a doctor, but he didn't quite make the grade. So the nursery is empty now, but the mortuary beds are ready made. The Queen distributes her substitutes, places them in rows, while they're pulling down yet another town where the hard wind blows, where the hard wind blows, where the hard wind blows. Well, that's never been played that way before, and probably never will be again. Substituting some new lyrics there because there's a lot of stuff going on in the UK and elsewhere in the world at this moment in time, and it all seems to be affecting